Hey guys, welcome back to TalkFlow. 2 years later, myself and Vim, we are back. And
Yo.
yeah,
Jesus. 2 years, man.
2 years, man.
Literally
Two
2 years.
years, literally 2 years. Um, our excuse, what is it?
No excuse. Just
No excuse, to be honest.
just
Guys, we apologize.
I
I
think we
apologize.
we planned to take a break and then come back for like season 2. But then I think the show got cancelled.
Yeah, literally. So, yeah, guys, yeah, I apologize. But we're back now and we're planning on, getting more content out to you guys. In this episode, excuse me, we're going to be just talking random stuff, literally,
Just
and
catch up.
just catching up. Even me, myself and Vim, we haven't connected in a while as well. So we're literally also just trying to connect back with each other
We literally
and
kept
also
everything for the
we
recording.
kept
Otherwise we had to do
everything.
it again.
We saved up 2 whole years of topics just for this episode, guys. So, yeah. Why don't we start off with, what have we been doing for the past 2 years? Because maybe some of you are curious. One thing before we talk about that, I wanted to say, and Vim, you can add on to this as well, is the reason why we kind of came back. One of the big reasons was because of you guys. We went to the Webflow Conf, or I went to the Webflow Conf last year. I couldn't attend this year. Vim went to the Webflow Conf this year, which is just a couple of weeks ago. And so many people came up to us asking us about TalkFlow. And we were like, damn, like a lot of people know us from this YouTube channel. So we should kind of start
Yeah.
it back up. People enjoyed it. And it kind of showed to me at least that, people were enjoying what we were putting out. So we should do it again.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why.
Yeah, because I think last year's conference there were a few people asking, and then there was like a January March meetup in London. A lot of
Yeah,
people asked me then as
yeah,
well, and then I think in the last conference, like just everyone that approached, they were like, "Oh, you guys should do more of it. Like, why did you guys stop?" Um,
yeah,
at first, I thought like people were just being nice, but then as I spoke to them, I asked them a lot of them like, why did they actually watch it? And I think a lot of them said like it was very candid, like as though
mm,
it wasn't like two professional people talking about things. It was just like we were like 23,
yeah.
20.
At that time, I was like 19,
You were
18.
19, I
So
was like
yeah,
23, so we were like just
yeah,
chatting stuff that was relatable to them as well. And I think
mm,
that unique perspective is what is kind of missing in the workflow space. I think people just take it a bit too seriously. Um,
yeah, pretty
yeah.
much. Even for myself, I'm 22 now, so
Shit.
I actually wish that we done TalkFlow this entire time because it
We
kind
were
of
too early, man. We were
we
too
were
early to make
too
it.
early. You know what? You know what's crazy? We had all of these ideas from the get go. You know how TalkFlow started for you guys that don't know is me and Vim used to talk very regularly, just on the phone, on calls, just going through certain things because we were both trying to grow our agency. Um, and what happened was we were just thinking, you know what? Why don't we just record this and put it out? That was just the first idea, and that's what we done. And from that, we had a lot more other ideas. Do you remember Vetro? So that was another idea that we had. We haven't put it out yet, and I don't know
we
if we are going to.
we
But
were too early to everything.
yeah, we were early on so many things, and I wish we just kept it going because yeah, like I said, I was 19, now I'm 22. I've learned so much during that, and it would have been nice for the guys, our audience to see myself and yourself, him to grow as well, just as people. I think that would have been really, really nice.
Yeah, I think that was kind of a bit of a regret because when I watch back some of the videos, it's kind of nice to see like where we started and like what was big or what was like huge 2 years ago is almost like a constant now.
Yeah,
And then now like things always keep growing and you. To be honest, the last year just felt like it, it just ran so fast. I have no rest.
yeah,
It's just like
exactly
goal
that.
after goal, task after task. And when I look back on the channel, it was like the last video we uploaded was like November 2022. I
Mm,
genuinely felt like that was like 6 months ago. Like it does
yeah.
not feel like it's been 2 years since we actually put out anything.
Honestly, I feel the exact same. Yeah, time flies, man. But yeah, talking about time, let's talk about how we spent. that time.
You
you
tell me
know,
first, man. You disappeared out of the like you come, you do like 10 tweets, and then you just disappear for like
yeah.
10 months, and then you come back again. What happened?
Bro, you know what it is? I'll tell everyone out there. So maybe some of you guys may know, some of you guys may not know. Anyway, I'll tell you guys. So what it is that I'm a student. So I go to university as well, which is very strange. But some of you may know that I started Pristine Digital, my agency, or Webflow, whatever, when I was around 18 years old in 2020. 2020 was the year of COVID, so it was lockdown, and I spent a lot of time just home alone. So that's what I kind of, and then I stumbled across Webflow, started Pristine Digital, and I grew from there. By that time, I started uni as well. So I'm a dental student, so I study dentistry. So a lot of people think, why are you doing dentistry? And this is very strange. Or which one are you full time in? Are you a full time student, or do you run this full time? It's very strange, isn't it? Luckily for me, the first 2 years of uni, I didn't have to go in much, so I kind of just coasted along, and I could spend a lot more time in the business. Um, but then third year came along, which was just the year before, and yeah, I had to spend excuse me, I said I had to spend a lot of time in uni, and because of that, I couldn't be in the business too much. So I started to focus only on the essentials, and those essentials were just pretty much getting clients, getting the clients through the pipeline of project fulfillment, and then that's it. In terms of Twitter, TalkFlow, even everything else, I was very, very on and off, and some of them I was just completely off, 100%. But yeah, that's what I kind of spent the past year and a half doing, just focusing on the essentials, making myself as uninvolved in the business workings as possible. So I had to learn a lot about project management, hiring, et cetera, et cetera, focusing on sales, et cetera. So we kind of became more, or I kind of became more of a traditional agency owner where there's no kind of marketing really involved. I'm not in the social media space, etc., and I'm just focusing on the business. So that's what I kind of had to do. I didn't go completely ghost. Like I didn't delete Pristine Digital or delete Webflow. Like I just focused on the essentials, and I kind of left the marketing aspect because luckily for me, I had a client base already, and I could focus on those clients as well as new clients that were coming in. So I didn't really have to do too much marketing on Twitter, TalkFlow, etc., to get clients. So luckily for me, I had the relatively the same amount of client flow. It was probably slightly less because I wasn't doing much marketing, like updating my portfolio, etc. But yeah, I kind of just focus on the essentials, making sure that the clients I do have and the new ones that come in, I do get those projects done. And I wasn't really focusing on, yeah, I wasn't going too aggressive on growing, if that makes sense. So that's what I
Yeah,
kind of been doing the past year and a half. Now
I
I'm
think
planning on going back to what I used to be doing, which is just going super aggressive on everything. And that's what I'm planning on doing now because luckily I got more time. I've learned a bit more about myself just as a human. So that's what I'm going to be doing now.
nice. And I think the main follow-up questions everyone would have is, how did you manage to keep getting clients without? Because I know the secret,
Yeah,
like breaking news, Twitter does not bring a lot of leads.
yeah,
It never has, and like all this
yeah,
marketing stuff is great for like clicks and likes and engagement. But in terms of revenue, we'll get to that as a separate topic
yeah.
some other day. But yeah, like how did yours come along?
Yeah, so yeah, like Vim said, guys, the main thing is that you have to see and you kind of have to analyze all the different ways that you do get clients, and the ones that you don't get clients from, just don't bother with it. Or at least that's what I done at that time. Yes, Twitter is amazing for, working in the community, building up your connections, networking, getting views and clicks, like Vim said. But the main thing is that it does not get clients, full stop. It just doesn't. I think I may have got one client from Twitter, but that's it. Um, but yeah, in terms of how I maintained that revenue, even grew that revenue without marketing at all, was that I just focused on the things that worked the best. Number one, it was obviously referrals, and there's a couple things you can do there. Number one is obviously over deliver on your current clients, and they will just refer you more. Number two is reaching out to old leads and getting them to give you more projects or referring you. Another avenue is through my website, so SEO. So making sure that those leads convert, hopping on the calls with them, making sure that you sell properly. And number three for me, it was Webflow Experts or the Webflow Partners Slack channel. So those were kind of the three big sources where I got leads. The rest, like LinkedIn, Twitter, didn't really work. So I just focused on those, and yeah. So that's how I kind of built my revenue without, having to spend too much time in the extra other bullshit like Twitter, etc.
Nice. That's it. Like they most people click on it, they got value. Now we can talk about other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, but Vim, same question to you, man. What have you been doing, bro, the past year and a half?
Oh man,
And
it's
yeah.
the same thing. What I did 2 years ago, but definitely a lot more in volume, a lot more work. Um, yeah, just growing the company, trying to grow the revenue, trying to we did products and grew that, and then now basically I in first year when we spoke was my first year doing it properly. Looking back, that was like a job because I was doing the design, I was doing the sales, I was doing the development, I was doing pretty much everything. Second year, it was a little bit of I still did a lot of things. I still did the design, I still did the build, I still did the product stuff. But I think second year I got a bit distracted with the product stuff. So the agency didn't really grow. A lot of the extra revenue came from the products, which kind of like freaked me out a little bit. So the third year, it was just all about growing the agency side a lot more. We did launch a few more products, but I think my focus was trying to get that revenue to grow. And then grow the team. Just eventually I became the bottleneck, or like I just couldn't take on all the work, and I started to hate it at some point. I was like, yeah, no, this is the last one I'm gonna do because I just cannot do it anymore.
And at what point was this?
I think I would say November 2022.
Okay, so 2 years ago exactly.
Yeah.
Fine.
No, wait, sorry, November 2023. See,
Okay,
I
so
still forget
ago.
that was 1 year. Yeah, like exactly like this time 1 year. I was like on a client project because I had someone like on it, but then they failed to like properly deliver, like be as fast as I wanted it to be. So I had to like quickly jump in and take over that project. And I was just hating it throughout. And I was like, nope, that's the last thing I'm gonna do now. Because the reason I hate it because I just feel like I wasn't good enough anymore because all the designers and the developers I've been working with were really good. And like with all the other things I need to do, I just couldn't. It became like like I was just wasting my time building something or designing something which someone else could do better.
Yeah. I think a good way of saying that is that and I completely agree, it happened to me as well, where your agency kind of outgrows yourself. Where the people you hire, not necessarily that each one of them is better than you per se, that could be the case, but it's more so as a collective, they are better than you.
It's because they put all their time in one thing rather than like 5% on it, 5% on this. Because as you know, like if you're building an agency, there's like sales, there's marketing, there's people, there's like finance, there's so many things that you need to do, and then trying to jam a creative session in between that is just
exactly. It's very difficult. One thing as well that I wanted to say was that I remember back in the day when we were kind of very heavily involved in the development aspect of our respective agencies was that we were, or at least I was hoping that Webflow could come up with these updates a lot quicker. But now, because I'm not really involved in Webflow pretty much, now these updates are coming so quickly. I'm like, what? Like, I can't even keep up with the updates. Whereas before, because I was so involved, I was like, oh man, I wish Webflow could do this and do that. But, like I said, because, I'm not involved, the updates they sort of make sense why they take time in between them. And they sort of feel like they're more regular. Whereas before, it felt like it was too slow. So,
yeah. So I think, after that, then priorities shift a little bit. I was still doing Webflow projects, but only if I absolutely need to, or like if I want to do it. But yeah, then we grew the agency, and then this year is just trying to keep that momentum going, setting
Mm-hmm.
higher goals. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
My camera's not focused. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Okay, nice. One question for Vim that I had for you was, and everyone probably wants to hear this as well, is how have the numbers been looking? Not necessarily, like for
I knew
example,
you were gonna ask me
yeah, I want to know,
that.
how much, because we did speak a little bit before. You told me, all of the people that you've kind of hired as well. So how has the team grown? Has your base kind of minimum engagement rate gone up as well? So why don't you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. I think in terms of team, right now we have about 12,
Okay,
12 people,
nice one.
excluding freelancers and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Full time, maybe we have 5 or 6 people, full time or semi full time. Um, yes, I think my role now is just trying to manage people, trying to connect people with other people so that they can get the work done or like get
yeah,
different things. Yeah, the role has completely changed. Yeah, it's just managing people, setting tasks, SOPs,
yeah.
system. Gone from the creative side to more on like the annoying manager side.
Boring
Yeah,
business side. Yeah,
it used to be so boring. Like I remember we talked about SOPs like 2 years ago. I was like,
yeah,
who needs that, man? Screw that.
yeah.
Now, like, nope, I need it because now my shift has changed because people need to follow a system. They need something to follow. Otherwise, everyone has their own things,
Otherwise,
own
it
way
all
of
goes to
doing it.
shit. Yeah,
It
exactly.
gets very, very annoying to manage.
Yeah.
Revenue wise, I think our third year, which was last year, we did 2 times of what we did on the second year.
Oof, nice
Yeah,
one.
so
So
it's
it doubled.
doubled. Yeah,
Nice.
100% growth on
What would you
compared to.
say was the reason for that? Was it just because of a bigger team? You just increased prices? Or would you say it's just naturally occurring where you just got more experience and then you started to get
I think it's a
better
mix.
clients?
Yeah, I think it was a mix of the compounding effect because there's like 2.5. The first half of last year was a little bit very similar to the second year. I didn't see a lot of difference,
Mm,
but 2023, like January onwards, like there's a
mm-hmm,
lot of momentum,
mm-hmm,
especially throughout March until July, August. That was a very good momentum.
mm,
A lot of it, I think, is because there's a lot of work that we've already done, and those are getting recognized.
mm-hmm,
There was a lot more, like, I wouldn't say the price changed, but there was slight increase in price.
mm-hmm,
And we also focused a little bit more on like recurring or like cross selling
mm-hmm.
or like, yeah, I think that really helped.
Yeah.
Once we had that recurring income coming in, because the thing is, these clients, we had them before, but because they were all one-off projects, they take like 6 months, 12 months sometimes, and they only paid like 50% of it.
Mm-hmm,
But then because it's recurring, they want to go faster. That
mm-hmm.
helps get those unearned revenue essentially. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah.
I would say it was a bit of compounding effect, a bit of um, proper, like better sales techniques and
Mm-hmm.
proper proposals, and also the recurring revenue made a lot more sense, a
Nice.
lot more. Yeah, and eventually, once you start getting people to work on it, your capacity increase, so you could definitely bring on more projects. So
Mm-hmm.
that kind of helped as well.
Nice. Yeah, I think one video, is actually our most popular video, was the episode that we done with Design Joy, Brett from
Yeah,
Design Joy, and he talked about productized Webflow services.
yeah,
He was more so focused on the design aspect, and I remember after that episode, I straight away started to focus on getting that service packaged up for our agency, and I
yeah,
did do that. So I started something called Pristine Unlimited. I designed a website for it like 2 years ago. I still haven't released it. It's so bad, but I
yeah,
did start to release it to the clients that came to us and our current clients, and we do have a few clients on that, and it's been so good for just cash flow because
yeah,
I know that for the next 3 months, 6 months, this client's going to continue paying. I think our
yeah,
longest client that we've had, they pay a quarterly package,
yeah,
and I think this is like their sixth payment on it. So you can just do the maths, right? And it's just crazy how from that episode,
Yeah,
I started to package it. Started to do the whole productized Webflow thing, and
yeah,
it's actually so good because I think with productized services, this is maybe something we can talk about because I know that Vim yourself, you also started to have that as a service. It works really well because unlike design, Webflow can be standardized to a certain degree. And what I do at least is I just put a certain developer I just assign one developer for that client, and that developer just handles any requests that they have. And usually that's more than enough to handle all of the requests that the client has. And clients love it. Like anything that they have, any little task, to just add it to the platform and
yeah,
it just magically gets done. And the
yeah,
best thing about it is that I literally have to do zero management for it.
yeah,
Zero. Like the developer, because they build such a relationship with the client, they already know everything, how the client wants to get stuff done, when they want to get it done. So after 1 month or 2 months of managing a little bit, it's just autopilot pretty much.
yeah.
And yeah, it works really, really well.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Like, though there are some caveats, the unlimited thing or like subscription packages or services, it's not for everyone and it's
Mm,
not for all clients. That's a mistake that I made also.
yeah.
It's a very niche. It's almost a customer needs to know and they need to want it because otherwise
Mm-hmm,
there's no way you can sell a subscription, which
mm-hmm,
kind of I think what we spoke about in that video or like a video 2 years ago
mm-hmm.
is that why would clients pay for it? They won't if they don't see the point in it. Most
Exactly.
people will
Yeah.
only pay for it if it's very cheap, like if it's cheaper to get you on like a 2 month contract than is to get someone on like a fixed cost. That's when they will do it. But then those
Mm-hmm,
types of clients will try to squeeze everything out of you within the 2 months.
mm-hmm.
Or the best way is they need something like that. They need
Mm-hmm.
someone to be there constantly updating the site because they can't do it and they don't want to hire or they can't hire or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's not like it works great for freelancers because essentially what you're doing, you're selling your time for money, and
Mm-hmm.
as long as it's reasonable, people will want you. But
Mm-hmm.
for agencies, you cannot go to every single client and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
we only do subscription services." I know some agencies do it,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm also a bit skeptical that that's the only model that they follow because I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure most clients, they have a budget and they want to stick within it. And if you go and say it's going to be a monthly, and I have no idea how many months it's going to take.
Yeah.
So there is some caveat, but that really helps as like an additional service. A lot of the
Yeah.
stuff that we still do is still fixed cost projects,
Yeah.
but that sort of recurring one is very specific for very specific clients who
Yeah.
who know and they come through, they read through everything and they know that's what they want.
Exactly.
Otherwise, that's
Yeah.
not something that I'm going to say.
That's very true. I also made the same mistake where I started to pitch it to a lot of
Yeah,
clients, and
someone bought it.
yeah.
So this is the mistake. Like I pitched a design development subscription to someone, they bought it, but then now I'm scared like they want because they were like, oh, can we get it done in 2 months? And then now I think where I do the math and I'm like, oh wait, this project, whatever they're asking, I would have not charged what the 2 month subscription is
Yeah.
worth. It would
Yeah.
have been like 4 times that. So then you're now double guessing. There's a lot
Yeah.
of like anxiety. Plus
Yeah.
with like subscription thing, it's very hard to hire some like unless you tell them it's a recurring thing or something like that. It only adds value if if you know the client's going to be there for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But if you even have the slightest doubt that next month they're going to cancel, or what if they cancel in 3 months, then it sort of limits on like because you have no idea what their budget is, you have
Mm-hmm.
no idea how much they're going to pay you at the end. So it makes finding people very hard. It makes outsourcing tasks very hard.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I learned. I'm like, okay, next time no more like from scratch design. It's just a
Yeah.
fixed cost because I know I have this amount that
Yeah.
will come, and then I can sort of plan my finances accordingly.
Yeah, that's one thing that I also notice as also how that's one reason why I'm a bit hesitant to release the design that I've done for the Pristine Unlimited website is because I don't want to kind of pitch because I think like Vim mentioned, that service is for very, very specific clients. Number one, you have to know that they are going to be around for a long time. Number two, you have to know that they have the budget for it. And I will also say that number three, you have to kind of have someone there that is able to handle the requests or tasks that they send you. So it's very, very specific, and it's very hard to find those type of clients. um how I done it was that I looked at my current clients, and I thought, you know what, which clients will actually benefit from this kind of service, and not just pitch it to everyone. And those few clients I pitched it to, and thankfully the majority of them said yes, and now they're on that package, and we've had them for a long time. Like, we haven't had one cancellation, which is actually pretty crazy. um but it does work really well, I think. Once But you have to have the perfect client for it. um One thing that I don't do, and I've learned this before, kind of had, a little bit of a hiccup that happened with one of our other clients, where I don't do no design subscription, only Webflow and only SEO. So if you want Webflow and SEO, that's fine. If you want design, we don't do that on a subscription basis, because I found it just is just too much of a hassle.
Yeah,
It's too unpredictable in terms of, you know, it's just so unpredictable. And on top of that, it's very, very hard to price. And because you want your subscription to be fixed, it just makes it very, very difficult. I don't know how, genuinely, I don't know how people do design subscriptions. I think development subscriptions is perfect, and SEO subscriptions is perfect. But
yeah,
yeah, I just can completely cancel the whole design element to the subscription model.
yeah. The
But
design stuff is like, if you think the Webflow development one is niche, the design one is even more niche because
yeah.
they need to know why they want you for design, and they also need you for development. It works. I can see why some people, because honestly, if you're a freelancer, it's a great model,
Mm-hmm.
because agencies will buy, because they know, like, roughly you're gonna get this amount, pay them this amount.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you're selling your time for money. Essentially, that's
Mm-hmm.
that's all it is.
Yeah.
Agencies have been doing retainers for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
That's the value of an agency. If you want to sell it, is the number of retainers and the recurring income you're going to build. The unlimited is just a new way of saying, is essentially the time is taken away, because
Mm-hmm.
when most agencies, when they do retainers, it's like X amount of hours every month. That
Mm-hmm.
gets very annoying very quickly, because if a task comes in and you're like, let's say you quote them 40 hours a month and that month is 45, do you charge them for the extra 5 hours, or do you just let that slide, or do you wrap it
Mm-hmm.
in that? It gets so messy.
Yeah, and even
um
just the whole invoicing of it is it
yeah,
also gets messy. So the subscription model kind of takes over or
yeah,
solves those few issues for
it's
you.
sort of a balance in
Yeah.
between. Like, there are some months where for sure you're going to be working more than what they paid, and then there
Mm-hmm.
are some months where you feel guilty because they paid but they don't give you a lot of tasks. It goes both ways, and the thing is, as I
Yeah.
said, the client needs to know that's what they want.
Yeah.
And most of the time these clients have budgets for this, so it works. Like, it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
it's still
I
good to
think
explore.
Yeah, I think one good indicator that a client will is wise to offer them this kind of subscription model is if they have a lot of websites that need a lot of management
Yeah,
or maintenance.
agencies. Yeah,
Agencies. Yeah. So um one client that we work with is in the finance industry that is on the subscription model, and they got a ton of websites. Like, I think, literally, I think around 10 websites, and we manage all of them through the subscription model. Actually, we manage two of them. Sorry, so we made a contract where we don't manage all of your websites completely.
yeah,
So yeah, so we managed two of them, and they got a few of these a few of these subscriptions purchased. So it works out to be really, really good. So that's one indicator where they have a few different websites that they need maintenance for, and especially for companies that need to release a lot of things and they have a lot of updates that they need. Um, then it definitely works out, and I think it's a good idea to pitch it. But yeah, like we said, it works for very specific clients, and you yourself kind of have to go and analyze the situation and see if this subscription model will work for them, and then propose them the subscription model and tell them, it will solve your XYZ problems. And yeah, so yeah, the past year subscriptions models have worked really, really well for me. And on top of that, that is another reason why I kind of could afford to stop TalkFlow and stop, Twitter. It was because, money was coming in, and I was like, you know what, like, who really
that's, I think, one
cares?
of the biggest
Yeah.
lesson is, like, again, there will be exceptions, but I don't think Twitter, all the likes and the thing actually is where people make money from. Again,
Yeah,
some people will make some money out of it.
yeah,
I know people get leads out of it, but
yeah.
if you're a freelancer, I think Twitter is a great way to find people. That's how I find people. But
Hmm.
if you're running an agency, I don't think Twitter is where people are coming for agency work.
Yeah.
So like spending all the time putting all those tweets and all that,
You know, this makes us
it's
sound
so
like this made
addictive.
us sound like complete sellouts, bro. But you know, it is
No, but
like
it is true. Like I
it's
think
true.
when we
It's
started it, we thought like, oh, when we do YouTube, we're gonna get clients out from it. Because again, it needs
yeah,
to come from like we thought like it's gonna come from Twitter, it's gonna come from LinkedIn. So we
yeah.
put all this effort. We do get likes on it and like
But it's
300
literally just
likes.
other people like us, isn't it? Just that enjoy the
Yeah,
content. Yeah, it's not
exactly.
like
So
companies.
it's like you see like people get like 500 likes, but then they still don't get any work from it because again, it's like the audience that you build are people who are similar to you. Very
Mm,
rarely we get leads from Twitter or
very, yeah,
LinkedIn. It's great for exposure. It's great to tell people that you exist and
yeah.
put yourself out there. But it gets very addictive because I remember vividly like around like last year, I have to like plan all the tweets and like if one tweet doesn't do well,
Oh
and
yeah,
I'm just like, oh no, this is the end.
bro.
I
Even
feel I
for
feel
this is the end, yeah,
I feel
bro.
like shit. Yeah,
Yeah, even for me, I remember. Yeah, I came to that point as well, man. Where on Twitter, I was like, every
it's
tweet has to
very
be good, and
addictive.
you know it is. Once it doesn't, and I take a break, I'm
Yeah,
like, oh man, if I come back now, the algorithm's gonna cook me.
yeah.
Like, it's not
No.
gonna. It's gonna think, oh, you've been inactive. I'm a,
It's very
old
addictive.
Twitter. Yeah, it's
It
just
is very
it makes it
addictive.
hard to come back from it, and I feel like
Yeah.
that's what happened. But
It, it
I've
I
come
think
to a
when I
point now.
realized it was
Yeah,
an issue is like if you put something and if it gets a lot of likes, the next one I'm scared to post.
yeah.
Even though like at the end of the day it doesn't matter.
It
Like it
doesn't
doesn't
matter,
cost
man.
me
Yeah.
anything, doesn't but they make you feel like it matters and if it doesn't do well you feel shit and then
Yeah, you push
yeah
it. Yeah.
I was like no, that's it. I don't really care anymore. I'll post if I want to post and there's something to say, I'll put it there, but otherwise Twitter and
Literally,
LinkedIn,
that's it. Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
just it's a social media, it's just
Yeah,
Instagram.
you know what is one thing that I've realized, and I think this comes with growing up to be an adult, like, but I realized that there's two things is number one, you actually have to enjoy what you do. And as long as you find a way to enjoy it, then you can create content out of it. And another thing as well that I found is that you kind of also, with that said, you kind of also have to set barriers to when you shut off from work. So that's one thing that I've been doing recently is I just have a cut off time and I work between certain hours. I kind of literally treat it like a 9 to 5. It's not exactly 9 to 5, as in I don't work from 9 to 5, but I treat it like a real job. And I think that's really helped me just dissociate myself from work.
Yeah.
as I've as I'm growing up, I start to realize there's a lot more other things in life than just work and business and money. So I don't want my whole personality to be about work. Like, this, yeah,
I feel
I,
attacked
yeah, bro. Like, I
because
don't want, yeah.
I feel attacked because I still feel like that.
Oh,
But
is
I
it?
still, there is a 9 to 5, like there's a cutoff time. After that, I don't work and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But my mind is still working, it's still thinking about stuff
bro. You know
because
it
I
is. You
enjoy
just
it.
gotta shut it off. Like, I mean,
Nah,
that's that. Mm,
I tried,
yeah.
but I actually enjoy thinking about stuff like this because I don't really have a hobby or I have nothing else to do. Because otherwise, I feel like my mind just starts to like waste, like I need to do something productive.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
I'm still
understand,
like,
but
it's not
But
like I'm
maybe that's a sign to build a hobby, bro. Like,
nah.
gym,
this
something.
this is a hobby. This is fun. It's
You
not a
know
bad
what?
thing because people ask me like, don't you get tired when you're always thinking about work? I'm like, not really because for me it genuinely feels like a, I
It's
don't know
fun,
whether to
isn't
call
it?
it
Like
a
a
game.
game,
It's
isn't
just
it?
fun.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like a
yeah.
game. Okay, this is not working. What can I do? And often when you're thinking about stuff like this, something will come up, and then you
Mm-hmm.
try it. So I don't feel like it's affecting me. I'm not like working every day. It's just like
Mm-hmm.
it's constantly running in my mind somewhere. But yeah, I do get it. Like I think last time, like 2 years ago, I used to work anytime, anywhere. I just if I get any time, I'm just working. I'm watching
Mm-hmm.
TV and I'm still working. Now I don't do that. I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, but things are still in my mind. Like I'm just thinking, okay, we tomorrow need to do this, we have to do that.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I understand. I used to kind of also be like that, maybe to a different kind of level,
yeah.
because I also had uni. Bro, you can imagine
Yeah,
like
when I was
from
in
nine
uni, it
to
was a bit easier.
yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah,
it's almost like you have two personas, right? Because I
bro,
used
that's
to do it.
exactly what it was. I had split personality disorder,
Yeah,
bro.
so
Honestly,
like
like
in the
yeah,
morning, I get through all the uni stuff, and then at night I get to like the workflow stuff. So that
mm-hmm,
way, it's almost like I switch. So I'm like, okay, this time to this time, I don't need to think about workflow because I have so much other things to do.
mm-hmm,
But when it
mm-hmm.
becomes the only thing is the main thing, that you can't avoid it unless I don't know how people do it, but I just cannot like completely
Yeah,
switch off.
yeah, you can't
But
completely. That used to be like me as well, and I feel like I overworked myself as well because I
mm,
had uni. I was, in even during uni, bro. Like whenever I had a spare minute, I would just, message my client or follow up on this lead or do something, bro. Every
yeah,
minute I was doing
yeah,
something, and I realized like my relationship with work, it wasn't good, bro. Like,
yeah,
and you can kind of almost think of it like a real relationship. If you spend time with a person like 24/7, it's
yeah,
just a bit much, bro. Like, you need some
yeah,
space, and I didn't
yeah,
have that with my work. And I realized, yeah, like I need to set boundaries with it. I need to
yeah,
be like, you know what? I'm gonna give you my attention from this time to this time, and you're not gonna eat up into my own personal time. And because
yeah,
of that, I've had so much more, and not necessarily more hours, but the quality of those hours have been so much better to spend on
yeah,
different things like the gym, friends, family, like so many different things and those are the things that actually matter in life almost. Um, and I'm not trying to say I hate work. I completely love it. I love what I do, but now I've kind of changed my approach to it where I'm more thinking of it like a job, and I don't take it personally, if that makes sense.
yeah.
Um, yeah. That's what I was saying. Yeah. I think that's bro. I think that's been a good
How long
episode,
has
man.
it been?
It's been around 35 minutes, I
Oh,
think.
okay. I thought it's gonna
Yeah.
take like an hour and a half.
Yeah, bro, which is usually
That's
what we
so
do,
much.
but yeah, I think we should probably stop it there, wouldn't you say?
Actually, I got one more question for you.
Okay,
A
go
couple
for
of
it.
questions I just wanted to ask.
Go for it.
Like 2 years, what what is like the biggest challenge that you faced, or like yeah, unexpected challenge that you
Ooh,
didn't expect?
in work. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a very good question. Um, I think what it was, and we did talk about this, was trying to remove myself from
Mm,
the business. And
mhm.
the reason how it became a problem was that even though I was hiring people to get certain things done, it was like the business almost needed me in order for it to just function and stay alive, and that was a sign that something was wrong. Um, so that was a massive challenge I had to face by doing a lot of not only reorganization and actual labor to get that resolved, but also approaching my work differently. And yeah, that was a massive challenge, and it took a lot of time and effort from my end. Um, it took, trying to build systems that didn't have me there and it could function without me. SOPs, making training videos to help project managers get stuff done. Not only that, but also, for example, I did do all of those stuff, but the problem was still there. For example, when I would kind of just see a project, I would be like, oh, this isn't getting done the way I want it to get done. Like, it didn't get done to the standards I want it to get done. And
Yeah.
it was a big challenge trying to face the fact that the people that you hire, they are not going to be able to get the stuff done exactly the way you want it. They have different approaches, they have a different mentalities, different standards. Not necessarily that they can have lower standards than you, it's just different. For example, I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
but I want things done a certain way. And
Yeah.
if somebody can't do that, I'm like, bro, what are you doing? But I had to acknowledge the fact that, you know what, they're different. They probably think that what they're doing is
Yeah.
amazing.
For me,
And
it's I
yeah,
still feel it, like especially when yeah, I still feel it sometimes when I see the way they send a message or like do a design or
exactly,
something,
bro. Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
like, I wouldn't do it like that. Like I feel like
bro.
I need
And
to
it
step in.
annoys you, isn't it? It
It
annoys you
annoys
like a
me,
little bit,
but
yeah.
then and then and then like nothing happens, right? The client's okay with it, like
The
everything
client's
just
okay with
works.
it, yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just like, maybe I'm just like, because it doesn't go the way I do it or like I want it, doesn't mean
yeah.
it's wrong. And like it also helps, like, because now I cannot step into everything, so I just gotta trust the system and just
Bro,
let
you just
them
gotta
do it.
firm it, yeah,
You
yeah,
just gotta be
exactly.
like, I've committed them.
You just
I'll
gotta
step
live
in
with it
if
almost.
yeah, if it's definitely bad, like I know, okay, that shouldn't happen, then you step in.
Hmm.
But if the client looks happy and everything goes well, like you
Yeah,
shouldn't really. It will be there.
exactly.
I don't think I can ever get rid of it, but
You
I
can
think it
never
makes it.
fully get rid of it. I try to by create, for
Yeah,
example, I create this Notion docs where it's called pristine standards. It's like some cringe kind of methodology that we kind of have, like, how to message things a certain way, etc., etc. So I tried to limit it, and I did limit it, but it just never fully goes away. Like, people are just different, and you
yeah,
kind of just have to live with it. So that's one massive challenge I had to face. Like, and there was also a lot of other sub mini challenges that came in the way, but just the whole process of getting myself away from the business and
yeah.
letting it run almost on autopilot with as much minimal input from me as possible was a massive challenge. Getting the
Yes.
tools and resources, building that in order to empower your employees, um, and your team is a very, very difficult task. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of, deep work sessions. But I think I've come to a point where I would say I'm satisfied with the level it's at, but I think there's definitely a long way to go. A lot of things to improve on in order to make things the best. But yeah, that's one big challenge I face.
Nice.
you
Cool.
you said you had a few questions, isn't
I
it?
think this you kind of answered, because the other one was about like how do you manage team and stuff like that, but you kind of answered the question.
Okay, yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
I think that is the main challenge, to be honest. Like
yeah,
delegation
bro, managing,
is the
bro, people
hardest.
don't understand. Like, I used to think, yeah, I'll never face this problem, but it's actually a big problem, man. Like,
Yeah,
it's very, very delicate. Like, so yeah, you kind of have to know how everyone kind of reacts to certain things, and even providing feedback. Some people are more inclined to listen to feedback in a certain type of way. Some people prefer in another
yeah.
type of way. Yeah, it's
How
a
big
big
is your
load.
team now?
So now I have to, I've limited my slack. Damn. Okay. One, two, three, four, five, six,
And
seven, seven, seven.
Slack is where you know the like who
Yeah.
actually is in the team, because otherwise it's
Yeah. So I
difficult.
got seven that are like full time and only working with Pristine, but I got like three, four other contractors that we use a ton that have their own email and are part of the workspace and whatever, whatever. Like, so yeah, I'll say, but I don't like to say that. I would like to say it's like seven team
Hmm.
members, full on team members.
Nice.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Cool, bro. So, bro,
Hmm.
I want to ask you as well. Would you say that challenge that I mentioned was also like the biggest challenge for you?
That, and also time management,
Mm,
because I think because we're doing both agency and product. I found it like just very difficult to. I think whole of last year was that dilemma of, do I focus my time on agency or product?
mm.
And ultimately I have to just decided
Yeah,
to
bro,
just go
because
all
you've
in.
been doing crazy stuff with the product stuff, like so
Yeah, I
yeah,
think it was all okay until like mid of 20. I
23.
think around like March, I think we were like riding high on the product stuff.
Okay.
And then and then once I kind of saw how many people were using it, it kind of like shocked me a little bit. And then also whenever we make an update, when there's a bug and whatever, because all the product stuff, we didn't build it with a mind of like people are going to use it and we're going to make it. It
Mhm.
was just like throw something together, see if it
Mhm.
works. We were like 22, 23, 24.
Yeah.
We couldn't really give a shit about how it was built. So there was no pipeline, there was no process. And
Bro, we started this so young, bro. Like,
I know, right? So it's like a lot of the stuff that we built was so. If I were to build it again, I wouldn't do it like that. So, but then it was
yeah.
to the point where there's so many people using it, and I felt so stuck. I was spending a lot of my time on like the support and everything, and I was like, okay, this is not bringing as much money as I thought it
Yeah.
does bring in money.
but maybe
and
not, relative to the time you're putting in, isn't it?
not even that. I think it's more of like I don't know how to put it. Like it is not a small amount of money. Like I think
Mm,
if I see this 2 years ago or like last year, I would be very happy with it. But
mm-hmm,
it's just that the amount of work that might need to go to grow that, or yeah,
mm-hmm,
it was a bit of a struggle, and I was struggling to
mm-hmm,
find people to replace me in that space. So right now it's just like putting that on I wouldn't say stopping it, just on ice until
mm-hmm.
I get at least the agency stuff to a point where it's good enough, it's doing well, then we can focus on products. But
Yeah,
yeah, that was like a big learning. It's like focus on where the money is coming from,
yeah,
and where we can grow rather than trying to always try to do the new thing, right? Like went from like agency to product was new, spend all the energy and effort, and then I immediately like after that I was like, oh, let's do unlimited stuff that's doing really well. So it's almost
mm-hmm.
like the shiny syndrome, like
Shiny
oh this
object
is
syndrome, yeah.
yeah, and I was already thinking of like, oh
Bro,
okay, let's do
we
something
had
else.
we had that to a like an elite degree, bro.
I
Like
we
every
still
week
have
we
it.
would, yeah,
We will
like
have something new. Yeah, it's just like literally see where you're making money and just focus on that.
bro, that's
The
exactly
others
what
are
I
like,
learned, man. Yeah,
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 the others are fun, but like, um, yeah, the others are just for fun. Like, I think that
yeah,
was the biggest learning. Is like,
yeah. I think just to add on top of that as well, man. Like, that's one reality that I had to face a lot, man. Like, there's so many things that I wanted to do that I was excited about that I kind of forgot the whole reason why businesses work in the first place, which is money. And I wanted to work on so many different things, like for example Vetro, and I wanted to focus on TalkFlow and building that and community. The unlimited thing. Like I wanted to build so many different things. um but I kind of got lost in the source almost, where I forgot what made me the money and what made me grow as a business, and I forgot to focus on those things, and I kind of became you know ungrateful of it. Like I started to forget it, and that kind of made me backpedal a little bit. And on top of that as well, as when once I did see the money coming in, I kind of became a bit comfortable, and I started to not focus on that side of the business, start to look at different things in, the industry. And that got me a bit lost, you know. And
yeah,
so therefore I kind of had to take a step back in order to take two steps forward, which is, not getting myself involved in the team, sorry, in the projects, hiring people, which obviously costs money. So I kind of had to also face the fact that, I have to take a step back in terms of, paying people, spending less time on certain things, spending more
yeah,
times on other things that I necessarily don't want to do, you know, and I had to acknowledge that, all of this is for the greater good in order for me to grow more. So yeah, take one step. I had to take one step back to take two steps forward, and that was it's quite a big reality to face, seeing as I did get to a position where I was quite comfortable. But yeah, recently I've just been, what, I do really want to grow. And I learned all of this, in the past year. And yeah, I've made the decision to, just go back to my old ways and, really, really focus on the things that got myself and probably yourself as well to the position that we are in, which is, the business, projects, clients, etc., etc. So yeah, that was a lot of waffle, but yeah, man, like you understand where I'm coming from, isn't it?
yeah. Been there,
Yeah,
still there.
been there, still there. Yeah, yeah, man. Uh, yeah, I think if that's all the questions, I mean, I don't have any more questions for you.
Yeah,
All
that's
good,
all.
cool. So yeah, guys, that was it. We talked about a lot of things. We'll probably timestamp all the kind of main topics that we talked about in the video, but hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and also comment what kind of other topics you guys want us to talk about, and maybe we might just talk about it in the next episode. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and hopefully we will see you next week as well on a Wednesday. So
2 years later.
yeah, damn. And yeah, comment. If you guys missed us,
We should
what
do
you
a
guys have been
Q&A.
working on. Yeah, bro,
I
we
want to
should do
do
a
a
Q&A. You know
Q&A.
what? If you
Yeah.
guys want a Q&A for the next episode, drop a comment and also leave a like. And
Put it on your
that
Twitter as
way,
well.
I'll put my Twitter as well. So that way we will know if you guys want a Q&A. I think that's a good next step because then we can reconnect back with our audience and see what kind of questions you guys have for us about our thoughts about Webflow, the industry. And yeah, we're excited.
Nice.
No worries, guys. All
Um,
right, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.